What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the next one. Tyme London, back on the chair. One of the most requested videos, actually. It's taken a little while for me to make it, but a lot of people always ask me. A few people have asked me to make this video for them, so eventually I got around to do it for you guys, and I'm gonna give you some important information. So make sure you're gonna watch this video all the way to the end. But before we go any further, make sure you're following me on Instagram, so that if you guys have any questions you wanna ask, you can ask them through my Instagram. Follow me right there. So let's get into it. Now, I always get people asking me to make this video about how to recruit and get helpers, or people you might call maids, here in Uganda. Now, in Uganda, it's very popular in people's homes to recruit people to help them out around the home. People you might call maids, but I call them house helpers, because they help you around the house for cooking, depending on what you need them for, cleaning, cooking, and all of that good stuff. And also, obviously, people like parents who have kids, they can be like babysitters as well. So people have been asking me, how can you recruit? What's the best way to get helpers and stuff like that can actually do amazing jobs for you. Now, I've got some notes down that I feel like they're very important. Now, before we go any further, the first things that you guys must know before you recruit any house helper, remember, you're bringing them into your home. So that means from the jump, you have to have a certain level of trust in that person or those kind of people, because some homes, people have more than one helper. So if you only got one, make sure you have some sort of trust in that kind of person. Or if you bring two, make sure there's a bit of trust. And this is exactly what I mean. The reason why I'm telling you that is that my first point, the most important point of you recruiting a helper or a maid or maids, it's important that you get recommended from people you trust. Get recommendations through people you might know, like friends, family members, and ask them, hey, do you know anybody who can come to my house and help me out? Do you know anything about them, where they're from and stuff like that? So number one, make sure they're highly recommended, so that you know exactly where they're coming from. That somebody that you actually know and you trust, know where these people are coming from. It's important to know a little bit of their background, where they come from, what village they come from, what town they come from, a little bit of their family. So that's very, very important, just because you don't really want to recruit somebody into your home that you know nothing about. So some of my helpers here that we use here in Kampala, we always get recommended through different family members or even friends and stuff like that. So that's the first thing. Make sure that these people you're bringing into your home, they're highly recommended by people you trust. Okay, number two, when you get them into your house, set straight rules that you want them to obey by, because at the end of the day, you don't just want to bring somebody into your home and they just do whatever they want. So set straight rules, something like, okay, look, I'll need you like every day to wake up at this certain time, and when you wake up, and I'll need you to do this for me first, and this, depending on your lifestyle. I mean, you might be working a job where you're required to wake up so early in the morning, so you might need your helper to wake up at a certain time, maybe before you, to prepare, for example, breakfast for you, or if you take lunch to work, to prepare some lunch for you to take before you wake up, or to iron some clothes for you that you're gonna wear. So things like that, you set rules and be like, hey, look, this is how my lifestyle is. I'm gonna need you to do this for me, A, B, and C. So set some rules, and also rules around the house. Be like, hey, listen, I'll need you to do this, but I wouldn't want you to do this. Some people might be married. There's a few married couples that do not want their maids, especially if they're females, to go into their bedrooms to do things for their husbands. Like, for example, to go into the bedroom, the main bedrooms, to change bed covers. Some married couples prefer their women to do that for them. So if you're a woman, if you're married, or you're a man and you're married, you might set some rules where you tell your maid, hey, look, I won't need you to come into the bedroom. My lady will sort the bedroom out for me. So just giving you guys a few examples of rules that you need to set. So set clear rules for your house helpers so they know exactly what they require to do and when they're required to do them. All right. So after you set the rules, you need to train them. And what do I mean by train them? Now, you might bring somebody into your home and you might have things in your home that they're not used to. Like, for example, especially here in Kampala, the majority of house helpers here in Kampala or maids are recruited from village areas, from rural areas. Now, sometimes you get these kind of people who come and they've never seen a microwave before. You might have a microwave in your home, but they've never seen it before and they've never used it before. So if you're going to recruit them and employ them, you're going to have to train them how to use a microwave. They might not know how to, increase or decrease the fridge temperature. They've never had a fridge in their lives. They've never seen a fridge in their lives. So you have to to train them how to use certain things. They've never had a TV. So you might need to show them how, to use TVs. Here in Kampala, there's a system that people use to pay for electricity. It's called Yaka. Now, Yaka is you get like a meter on the wall, and that's what you use to monitor how much power you got left, and so that you can top up when the money is getting less and less. So you have to train your helpers again how to keep on top of that meter to make sure that they will let you know before the electric actually runs out, so you can top it up, things like that. So you need to train your house helpers. Very important. So also another important point, because I made notes for you guys because these are very important. Sometimes you might recruit or you might employ a helper or a maid, and they might travel from where they traveled from. Again, like I said, they might come from their village or their home, wherever they come from, and they might have obviously they might have family there, and some of them might have kids. They might have children there that they look after. And once in a while, after a few months, they might want to go back and visit their families, especially during public holidays like Christmas time or New Year's, Easter, or if they're Muslims on Eid and stuff like that. So they might want to go back and see the family, spend some time with the family. So when they come to you, normally they'll come to you and request for a bit of leave and be like, hey, I want to go, visit my family or my kids and stuff like that. So in that situation, what you actually do, you're like, okay, cool, it's cool, but I'll need you back here. You can go for maybe like a weekend or 2-3 days, but I'm gonna need you back at this after like 3 maybe or 4 days, depending on what kind of arrangement that you want to have with them. You might give them a week off or whatever, depending on what time they need. Or if it's a different situation where they've got somebody who's unwell and they need to go look after that person or go see that person. Of course, we're humans. You have to be, you have to understand where they're coming from and give them as much time as they need. But if they just want to go visit, you kind of like have to have an understanding with them and be like, okay, cool, how many days are you gonna need? 2-3 days, 4? Okay, I'll need you back after 4 days. You have to be specific. Reason why I'm telling you this is because from past experiences, I've known a few helpers here in Uganda from my family members that used to work for my family members here in Kampala, that have taken leave. They've asked my peoples to go visit the people back in the villages and stuff, and they never came back. So you don't really want to run into that situation, and obviously you might never understand why they didn't come back. Maybe they wanted to leave and they just didn't want to tell the employer, but they never came back. And a few of them ended up regretting it in the past, where they wanted the old job back, but it was too late because they left their job and they didn't tell the people at home that they weren't coming back. Some of them even left their belongings at home. So these are the kind of things that happen. They'll tell you, hey, I'm going to visit my people, I'm going to visit my family, and you let them go, and then they might not come back. You call them and they won't pick up your call. So you don't want to run into these kind of situations. So set straight rules, and when they want to travel or whatever, tell them, hey, I'll need you back at this time. And if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen, because it can happen. You get, a few helpers that will literally disappear on you, and you don't want to run into that situation. You're going to have to go through the whole recruitment situation again and then recruit somebody new. But so also when you're setting set rules as well, always tell your helpers to be honest with you. In that situation, if they're traveling and they don't want to come back, they should tell you and be like, hey, look, thank you for the for the opportunity, for the job, but I want to move on and do something else. So when I leave, I'm not going to come back. always encourage them to be truthful with you, because if they just disappear, you might not know. Because that's actually a difficult situation where if they just go and you don't hear from them and they don't come back, and you call them and they're not even picking up the phones, you might be worried as well, because you might think something might happen to them. So you might be worrying, and the whole time they're just ignoring you, you know. So yeah, be specific with the rules, set guidelines and rules with them as soon as you employ them. So here we go. Another important point with your helpers and maids: when they come to your home, like I mentioned earlier about the bedrooms, limit the access they can have to your personal belongings. What do I mean by that? Now, I made, like a year ago or something, or a few years ago, a long time ago, you can scroll down to one of my first videos. I made a video about being scammed by my maids or house helpers, because I used to give them too much access into my bedroom, and I'd go out, you know, partying and stuff like that, and I'll give my bedroom key to one of them, and I run into issues. So if you guys want to know all about that, go and watch that video. So it's very important that you actually limit the access you actually give them, so that at least there's always some privacy. So where you keep your, you know, personal belongings, if you're traveling like me, where you keep your passport and things like that, where you keep money, if you've got some money in the house, where you keep it, you want to keep that private. So access, limit the access that you allow them, because you never know what kind of person they are as time goes on. You never know if they're, you never know if they're thieves, like my old helpers. So it's important, limit your access. Because obviously, like, I'm sure everybody's, always has some privacy or private stuff that, they want to keep private. So limit your access, because you might run into issues like I did. So also, another important point, you have to be careful with the relationship that you keep with your house helpers and maids. You have to maintain a healthy balance between you being their boss and them being your employees. And also, of course, as time goes on, you build a relationship. So you might become friends with them, but you have to balance that situation, because even though as time goes on, you become friends with them, you get to know them a bit more, and you become fans of each other. You start liking each other as people, especially if they do, if they work very well and they're good people as well. So it's natural. You start liking the people and be like, these guys, they're good people. But you have to always keep that healthy balance of you being the friend and also being the boss, because sometimes people get it twisted. Now, there was a situation here a long time ago, where there was a stupid, I call her stupid because she was literally stupid. This girl was a helper of one of our helpers, and I remember one of our people from London called to talk to her, and she refused to come on the phone. And that was due to the relationship that my peoples afforded this girl, because every time they would come down here, they treated her as a good friend. They would go places with her, they would go to parties with her, they go to restaurants with her when they go. So she became so comfortable thinking she can act a certain way. So when they called her from London, they wanted to talk to her. I don't know if she was upset with something. She refused to come on the phone. She refused to speak to her boss on the phone because of the way they used to treat her. So she became so comfortable, and that she reacted a certain way. So that's what I'm telling you guys, because I'm sure you guys know, if you let people get too comfortable in certain situations, some people can take advantage and they think they can behave a certain way. So be careful when you're building that kind of relationships with your helpers and maids, where there's a thin, you keep that line between being friendly and, of course, you being the employer and being the boss. So another very important point: if you have helpers that are doing a great job, always, once in a while, give them some treats. I mean, as you build the relationship between you and them, find out what kind of things they like. Like my helpers here, what I normally do on special days, public holidays like New Year's, Christmas, I'll ask them, hey, do you guys, let me know if you want to go have some fun. I'm sure there's things that you guys want to do. So, you give them some time off to go and have some fun, to relax as well. Some of them might want to go to a show to see a particular singer or their favorite artist performing, or they might just want to go to a cinema, or they might just want to go somewhere and visit a friend or something. So make sure you give them some treats. And also, if you know exactly what they like, if you're coming from out in a restaurant, bring them something that they don't really get to eat once in a while. Bring them some, I don't know, maybe some KFC, or buy them something, a treat once in a while, to show your appreciation for them. Because at the end of the day, when somebody's doing an amazing job for you, it's good to show them some appreciation. And maybe some chocolates as well once in a while if they like chocolates. So always remember, if they're doing a great job and amazing people as well, give them some treats once in a while. Another important point, at the end of the month, depending on what kind of arrangements that you guys have with your helpers and maids, if you pay them monthly or weekly, I don't know, everybody might have, different people will have different arrangements with their helpers. Make sure when it comes to payday for your helpers, make sure you pay them on time and you pay them fully, you pay them well. Because at the end of the day, always remember, man, these guys are doing an amazing job for you. Again, if depending on what you need them for cleaning, cooking, and if you've got kids, if they're looking after your kids as well, they're working really hard. And a lot of helpers here in Uganda that I know literally wake up so early in the morning, literally before, some of them wake up before sunrise. Some of them get up around 5 o'clock and they start cleaning. Some of them wake up so early to do housework, to clean compounds and cook, to make sure that your food is ready on time whenever you tell them. Because with me, for example, I always tell my helpers that to make sure when I'm home, if I don't go out filming and stuff, I always tell them, hey, listen, I've told them a long time ago, they know this already, lunch has to be ready by 1 o'clock if I'm home. So even if I want lunch after 1, it's already done, so they know that already. So that's one of the rules that I set with them. So make sure that when it comes to paying them at the end of the month, or at the end of the week, depending on your arrangement you've got with your helpers, make sure you pay them on time and pay them fully. And and if they're doing a great job as well, maybe every year just increase the pay a little bit, and it keeps them, that also obviously keeps them happy and keeps them motivated to keep doing a great job for you. So guys, I wanted to make this video for you guys to give you pointers and best ways to recruit helpers or maids, if you're here in Kampala, or if you're planning on coming to Kampala and looking for a maid. So let's go back to the top before we close the vid. Make sure helpers you get are highly recommended by people you trust. When they come into your home, set straight rules that you want them to obey by, and make sure when they come, you train them to use different things that they might not know how to use. And also, if they want to travel, if they want to go back to visit their home, make sure you have an understanding of when they're gonna come back. You tell them when to come back, and make sure that they understand that as well. And also, another important thing, limit access to your privacy, to your private things. Also maintain the balance between being friendly with them and being professional, because always remember, you're their boss. And another one, remember to give them some treats once in a while. Give them some time to go enjoy themselves, or bring them some, some treats, some chocolates or whatever, depending on what they like. As you get to know them, I'm sure you get to know what kind of things they like. And lastly, make sure when it's pay time, make sure you're paying them on time. And pay them fully and pay them on time, because at the end of the day, a lot of them, like I said earlier, they've got families they look after. Like, we've got one of our main helpers here, she's got kids that are studying back where she came from. So if you don't pay them on time, they might not be able to pay for the kids school fees, or look after the family as well. So just like you, just how you look after your family, when you go to work, you want to be paid on time. So make sure you're paying these people fully and on time, because at the end of the day, these people are very important, man, because they do a lot of work for you. Like I said, they clean, they cook for you and stuff. Basically, your life is in their hands, because they cook for your food. they cook your food. So if you're gonna mistreat these people, you never know. They might, do something to you. So you have to make sure that you're treating these people well. And, they're human beings at the end of the day, like how you want to be treated when you go to your job as well. And if they're looking after your kids as well, you want to make sure that, they're being good, nannies, if that's how you want to call it, to your kids, if they're looking after your kids. So, guys, there you go. Best ways to recruit helpers or maids here in Kampala. So yeah, like the vid, share the vid, make sure you're commenting, let me know where you guys are watching the videos from, and also comment and let me know what you think of the videos, man. And also, if you guys want to ask me any questions, like if they, about Kampala or whatever, make sure you hit me up on my Instagram. It will probably be right here. If I haven't pull it in through the video already, it will be right here. So hit me up on Instagram. I always answer my messages on Instagram. So yeah. All right, guys, take care. I'll catch you in the next one. Tyme London.